Ayo, what is up, gang? Thank you so much for checking out Sledgehammer TV today for this very special presentation on the real reason why I believe the WWE are refusing to allow Daniel Bryan to return to in-ring action. Now, this is just an opinion piece. This is an editorial. This is not backed by any type of fact or anything that I have seen. It is just what I believe. And if you don't know what I believe, stay tuned to find out, because I think it just might blow your mind right here and right now on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, baby, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So, let's do this one.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me for this little special presentation that I've come to bring to you. My name is Nick Nightmare. Along with me, as always, is my little buddy, my best friend, my loyal companion, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Blue the Snowball, and we are here to discuss a little hypothetical. Know what I'm saying? Let's talk about and take a look at some of the reasons that the WWE might not actually want Daniel Bryan to return to in-ring action. Now, if you have half of brain, you may have deduced this for yourself. And if the current rumors going around about the WWE's plans for the Royal Rumble this year in Philadelphia have any validity to them, my argument that I'm about to make to you today is absolutely 100% fact. But there are no facts to my opinion. I am entitled to my opinion as you guys are entitled to yours. And I am very much encouraging you guys to take part in this conversation. Please, I want to know how you guys feel about the little tidbits of knowledge that I'm about to drop on you guys. I want to know how you feel about it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, so stay with me on this and don't get too judgy on me, because this is not going to be exactly what you probably think it's going to be. Now, let's get this little analysis underway. Let's take a look at the WWE's stance in this whole thing. Now, we all know the story. Daniel Bryan and the Yes Movement was the feel-good moment probably in all of WWE's history. Probably the best story that has ever happened. It was not written to be that way. Daniel Bryan was never meant to be a superstar in the WWE. Their intentions for him most likely were to be that B-plus player that they kept calling him. They wanted him to be a good hand, probably to follow in the footsteps of a Dolph Ziggler, to put on great matches in the mid-card and the upper mid-card. They never intended him to be the heir apparent to John Cena, which is what the fans made him. We organically came together as a fan base and told the WWE, this is the guy that we want. The WWE had other plans in motion. That was never more evident than Dave Bautista winning the Royal Rumble in that infamous year where number 30 was expected to be Daniel Bryan. It was expected for Daniel Bryan to win the Royal Rumble to find his way in the main event to WrestleMania 30. But that is not what the WWE had in mind. Daniel Bryan was never a factor in their main event plans. Sure, he had been World Heavyweight Champion before, on a couple occasions, but think about how he was treated in those moments. How he was beaten by Sheamus in 9 seconds or whatever it was after that kiss from AJ Lee. They were never truly invested in the character of Daniel Bryan. Nowhere near as invested as the fan base was. So why in God's name would you not want this man back on your roster? If he has multiple doctors telling you that he can do this, what is so special about your doctor's test that will not clear him? It doesn't make sense to me. Something's not adding up. What is so special about Dr. Maroon's analysis as opposed to all these others that makes him say no? Now, the WWE does show genuine concern here, although I believe it's more of a legality-based, decision. Like, they're afraid of getting egg on their face, allowing this guy to wrestle, and maybe he goes in there and gets hurt, and now they're liable for something, and they come out looking like fools. I understand that whole standpoint. They're a publicly traded company. They don't want to look bad in the public eye. But there are ways around that. You can have him sign a hold harmless agreement. You could have him, in his contract, absolve the WWE from anything because this is his decision. They will allow him the platform to do so, but anything that happens to him is on him and absolves the company from any repercussions that may follow. You could do something like that if you were serious about allowing him to come back. Look at how he is taken by the fans just in this general manager position that he's in. The fans love this man more than every other active wrestler on the roster. Even more so than the phenomenal AJ Styles. He is the number one attraction in all of the WWE. Whether you agree with it or you don't, you cannot deny the reaction the man gets. It's guttural, it's organic, it's real, and the fans are behind Daniel Bryan. So much so that in this past week's edition of SmackDown, when Daniel Bryan was skating the lines of a somewhat heel nature, the fans were still behind him. It doesn't matter what he does. The fans just love Daniel Bryan. I love Daniel Bryan. I can't explain to you why that is. The amount of money they could be making off of merchandise and the matchups that he could be having with the likes of a Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is the perfect name to bring up because it seems they're holding Daniel Bryan to a higher standard than everybody else. Kurt Angle's had 2 broken necks. He has had constant concussion issues throughout his entire career. Why would they allow him back in the ring and not Daniel Bryan? You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why right now. It is in my opinion that the WWE's motivation in keeping Daniel Bryan off of TV is that they know firsthand, just based off of history and what happened in 2014 and WrestleMania 30 and all the events to follow, that there is no way they will be able to execute the Roman initiative if Daniel Bryan gets back in the ring. He will clearly be the number one babyface on the roster. There is no denying. There is no denying it. Every single Daniel Bryan match will be a must-see match. Anybody they put him up against that I just listed to you will be a 5-star match. You could even throw in the likes of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns himself. But the WWE's end game is to make Roman Reigns the face of the franchise, the John Cena of the future, and it's not what the fans want. The fans already picked their future guy. That was Daniel Bryan, and the WWE is not as stupid as everybody thinks, and they know this. They know the minute Daniel puts those boots on and steps between those ropes, whether he's fighting Shane McMahon or AJ Styles or Shinsuke Nakamura or Brock Lesnar or Kurt Angle or anybody, he is the main event of the evening. There is nobody that will touch him, especially when you add in the sympathy factor and the fact that we all want him to come back. The WWE won't let him come back, so that finally when he does come back, it's going to be even bigger than ever. So I highly doubt we are going to see a return by Daniel Bryan, at least before WrestleMania. If they do, they are definitely rolling the dice, and maybe they're going to take the company in a new direction following WrestleMania. Maybe Daniel Bryan will be a prominent feature on one of the main brands. Who knows? But I know that Roman Reigns will never get over if Daniel Bryan is wrestling in the ring. Take a look at that from the outside. You tell me I'm wrong. Think about it from Vince McMahon's point of view. This is his boy. Look how he loves Roman Reigns. Just take a look at the look in his eyes. This man loves Roman Reigns. He was fooled by us fans. Now, it's his own fault, but this whole thing with Roman Reigns kind of really kicked off because of the Royal Rumble in 2014. They made the wrong call by having Batista be one of the last two. You didn't even have Daniel Bryan in it at all, which was your biggest mistake. And the only reason the fans were over for Roman Reigns that night was not because they wanted to see Roman Reigns win, but because they did not want to see Batista win. So they'll even take this guy over Batista. And there you go. The experiment from Roman went on right from that moment. From that match on, he has been in the main events. He has been on this never-ending quest to be the top guy. 3 failed attempts. 3 failed coronations at WrestleMania. And now the rumor going around is that they have plans for Roman Reigns to win this year's Royal Rumble in Philadelphia again in just a couple of weeks, so that he could be supplanted opposite Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34. A match that's pretty much been booked for months already. Why would they add that to his accolades? He doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble again. Everybody knows this match is already happening. You're going to take away the prestige of the Royal Rumble by giving it to him once again. Philadelphia is going to tear them apart. It's going to be 2014 all over again. This is not going to be a Roman bashing session, but you can clearly see by everything that I have outlined to you and everything that I have said up until this point that they have no other reason to keep Daniel Bryan out of the ring other than the fact that it will absolutely derail where they're trying to take this company. Roman Reigns will never be number 1 if Daniel Bryan returns to the ring. I will be one of the happiest guys in the world when the news comes down the wire that Daniel Bryan will be wrestling again in a WWE ring. But I have little to no faith in that actually happening, and if it does happen, they'll probably give him more of a part-time schedule and not allow him to really wrestle the way he wants to. And at that point, he just might tuck tail and run and take his talents somewhere else. Cody Rhodes and the guys at Ring of Honor and the guys in the Bullet Club have made it openly known that they're just waiting. They're just waiting for him to come on and be a part of what they're doing over there. Which, if that ends up happening, will be one of the biggest things in wrestling. And Vince and company knows that, so they have to almost allow him to wrestle again. They're almost in this unwinnable situation. Because if you allow Daniel Bryan to go somewhere else, a lot of eyes are going to follow him. And if you allow him to wrestle on your show, it's going to totally take away everything you've been working so hard for the last 4 years to accomplish, even though it continuously fails over and over again. So I don't believe that they are truly keeping him off based off of his health issues. I'm not saying they're not genuine in their concern for him. I'm sure that they're worried that something's going to happen. They're probably very worried about it from a legal standpoint, as I said. But the bottom line is that when it comes to their storyline, where they're trying to go, and the future they're trying to build, Daniel Bryan was never in those cards to begin with. They were gifted this retirement, and it's almost like they're holding onto it as long as they possibly can. And they will not allow Dr. Maroon to clear Daniel Bryan because it'll fuck up everything. Even though it's not what we want at all. We would much rather see the return of Daniel Bryan and have his triumphant return and have all these dream matches come to light. Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle is a wrestling fan's dream. Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar would be fantastic. Daniel's been working on and adapting a new, less impactful wrestling style. He's a smart man. He has a family now. He has a daughter. He wants to be there to take care of little birdie. He's not going to put himself at risk. He's a very intelligent man. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's capable of. And sure, accidents happen. But look at a guy like Bret the Hitman Hart. He was so good at his execution. Very similar to the way Daniel Bryan is. And he barely ever hurt or injured anybody. Nobody significantly as far as I know. And it took him almost 20 years in the business to incur an injury that would essentially take him out for good. And it was at the hands of a very green and undeserving Goldberg at the time. So draw the same parallels to Bret the Hitman Hart to Daniel Bryan. It's very similar wrestling style. He will be able to go and perform at an optimum level and not put himself at risk. He knows what he's doing. But they know that Daniel Bryan coming back kills everything else they've been doing. And Roman Reigns will never get over. First of all, he's not going to get over as it is. We all know that. If and when he wins the Royal Rumble this year, oh God, it's going to be a feast. We are going to feast on the WWE. It's going to be brutal. The hammer on this show will be brought down harder than ever before. We had to bring it down here today. I just had this thought the other night. I'm sitting there, I don't understand. I just don't understand why they wouldn't allow him to come back. There's so much money to be made. There's so many matches to be had. And then it just hit me. It will definitely put the nail in the coffin for the big dog. He will never go anywhere. Even if Daniel Bryan is on the other show. Vince wants him to be number one. That won't happen with the return of Daniel Bryan. So that's it on my editorial. There you have it. That is my real reason that I believe the WWE will not use Daniel Bryan. It's all to protect Roman Reigns. Thank you guys so much. That's going to do it for this one. My name is Nick Nightmare. Don't forget to check out everything else on the channel featuring this guy right here, Blue, the snowball microphone, my best friend, my little buddy. We talked about the matchups in the Mixed Match Challenge on an episode you've seen either earlier today or yesterday. If you didn't see it, go check it out right now after this one. We also are about to sit down and watch Wrestle Kingdom 12, and I promise to bring you guys my thoughts and reactions to that whole thing. I can't wait. I am so excited to see Alpha versus Omega. It's going to be fan-freaking-tastic. I have not seen any spoilers. I have been very careful, and I am so excited. And I can't wait to do that. We are just about an hour away from that one, so it's going to be a fun night here, Saturday night, January 6th, and tomorrow we will let you guys know how we feel about everything. Thank you guys so much. That is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of YouTube, baby! The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV, only on YouTube.com. Don't forget to be awesome. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and we will see you next time. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much, and have a good one.